What is up, YouTube? This is T1 coming at you with another video, and today I'm going to be talking to you about 1 Million Years B.C., the 10th film in my Harryhausen retrospective. This is kind of an odd one out in his filmography. His involvement here was a bit more limited. Let me explain. See, usually we associate movies, of course, more with the writers and directors than the guy behind the effects. But Harryhausen actually had quite a lot of creative control in his films, mapping out the story, contributing to the screenplays, and even directing large portions of them. Because of this, even his weaker movies tend to carry his authorial stamp. But this wasn't the case for 1 Million Years BC. This was a work for hire job, and he really did just animate the dinosaurs, nothing more. And frankly, that explains a lot. The nicest thing I could say about this film is that it is a big swing to do an entire movie centered around basically nonverbal cavemen, to do a large scale fantasy story and still make it this dark and gritty. All of these are pretty risky ideas, but the thing about risks, sometimes they blow up in your face. 1 Million Years BC is the worst film I have covered in this entire Harryhausen venture. There aren't too many things I can point to as positives, at least not in execution. As already stated, some of these ideas sound interesting, but none of them are done well. Plenty of movies have managed to build an emotional connection with the characters, even when they don't say anything. Hell, every movie did it back in the day, but I didn't care about any of the tribes in this movie. The only character that I remember is Raquel Welch, but that's not because of how she's written or even her performance. It's because, well, you know why. I've got a long time without mentioning Ray's effects in this review, and they are serviceable, but that's all. The dinosaurs here just don't have the wow factor that the Emir or Telos did, which sucks because Harryhausen and dinosaurs sounds like it would have to be a winning combination. But sadly, no. The only creature that stands out is the Accolon, which is like a big turtle. That's a unique sequence. It reminded me a little bit of Mysterious Island, but as I was thinking that, I realized that made the movie worse because I wasn't actually enjoying this movie. I was just yearning for better films I'd seen on this retrospective. It's hard not to feel like this movie is turning a corner in Harryhausen's career. I mean, First Man on the Moon was underwhelming, but this is outright bad. I mean, we are entering the final stages of the man's film work, and the whole movie just feels like it's out of gas, not just in the lifeless creature effects, which is a first for any of these movies, but also the flat direction. This is the most visually boring film I have ever covered on this channel. And I know part of that is on purpose. The movie's aiming for a grittier tone. You're supposed to almost feel like you're watching a documentary, but it goes too far with it and ends up looking just flat and boring. And when the movie isn't boring, it's something far worse, and that's irritating. Worse than any of the comedy in Gulliver, worse than the long, boring exposition scenes in It Came From Beneath the Sea, worse even than the largely pointless first half of First Men on the Moon, are the countless sequences in this movie of underpaid British theater actors bellowing nonsense at each other and occasionally hitting each other with rocks. This is like everything I dislike about this period in movies distilled into one film. Look, I don't blame Ray for collecting a paycheck, but I can't pretend sitting through this mess was anything other than a fucking chore. 3.5 out of 10. Hope the next one's better. This is T1 signing out.